there's a song I want to play. I need y'all to understand why this is so important, why the respect of women is so important. Why the respect for women and your mothers and your sisters and your aunties and your grandmas, your baby's mamas, your wives. Why it's so important to respect them. Why this abuse that we got going on all throughout all organizations. It don't just stop at the organization I claim and I belong to, but it happens in all other organizations. Since I've been on the podcast with our brother Sheik Pennington Bay, I've been getting some calls from some sisters I knew I hadn't seen in a while. And I miss seeing them because their presence on social media always brought warmth to my heart. They always had their children with them. They was always their husband and children. So I miss seeing their faces and seeing them is so amazing, right? Oh, it would just be great to see them because our children are grown now. So to see the babies demonstrate and able to go to temple and all that was just a joy to my heart. So I'm getting phone calls from people that have been so hurt in this movement that it's now it needs to be talked about. This needs to be said now because too much quietness. I go for my boy. What my boy say? What my boy say? And excuse if you hear anything, because this is not a Morris Science meeting or none of that. Now I'm gonna definitely bring Prophet Noble Drew Ali into this thing, but just know that this is not that. I am coming like this. I'm coming carnally. So no telling what might come out, but I'm not gonna let my emotions get away. I've had to calm down today, just based off of the calls at 5 this morning and messages at 4 this morning. Yeah. And even when we were on our Friday holy day, we got a call from someone about their husband trying to come on there and that the husband beats them and that they're homeless in a homeless shelter together. Oh, wow. Strange. Yeah. I said the same thing. I have to call you back. I don't know why people want to call now. Don't start calling me now. But anyway, so getting phone calls, hearing these things, listening how brothers are really mistreating women. So I want to talk about my abuse in this Moorish paradigm in life, all of that. I want to talk about it because it's not talked about enough. And I'm gonna put it like this: Cat Williams said it's up for everybody in 2024. Everybody. This right here, no one is. Let me tell you something. Allah ain't got no respect for person. If you ain't right, you just ain't right. Period. You can try to cover it, hide it up, make it look good, dress it up. If you ain't right, you just ain't right. And we're coming to a point now where all that is about to be purged up out of here. Whether you think so or not, it's about to be purged up out of here. And this is spirit working. So whatever you thought was really going on, whatever you thought in flesh was popping off, and that was the way you was gonna save your power and be in power and all that. Oh no, jokes up, buddy. Jokes up. Y'all need to pay attention more to really what's going on. Y'all are too stuck in a box, too caught up in whatever you're caught up in that you really can't see what really is happening. And not to my brothers that have a lot of respect for women, not to my sons, because I raised amazing sons and they get abused by their women. So this ain't just abuse coming from brothers, because we're going to talk about the abuse that comes from some of these sisters too that are in these organizations also. Their language, the way they come, all of that. We're going to talk about that too, because it's not just brothers being abusive in this thing either. So we're talking about abuse across the table. I'm trying to find my song, and I don't know why I don't want me to find my song, but that's all right, because we're going to go find it right now, because I need you to understand. And I put this up last night because, well, early this rising, my dear sister Isha gave me this, right? Oh my goodness, where are we at? And she turned me on to this song. I love Soleil. So like I have always liked her too. Um, this song right here, this song right here is so beautiful, and it speaks so much to who we are, who this right here to us, right? Just trying to get to it, right? And I don't know why it's not letting me even get to this thing. Like it doesn't want me to do it or something, you know. But let me see. Let me go down here because I know I just played it. I just played it. I just played it. Where you at, sis? Yeah, I really want to talk about this. So as soon as I get this on, I'm gonna play it. I want y'all to really listen to the words that are being said because I just don't feel like our sisters get enough respect. They don't get enough love. They really don't, and they have been through a lot. They have been through a lot. They really have. Um, I think this is. I don't think. You know what? I think I'm in the wrong one. That's what that is. Are we in the wrong playlist? Maybe I'm in the wrong playlist. Um, but yes, it's like there it is. My fault. So said, yeah, I was in the wrong playlist. I was like, no, I know this playlist I have has this song on here, and I need to get to. Where you at, girl? Where you at? Where you at? So, as I said, my sis turned me on to this, and oh, it has just been it's been ringing in my spirit this whole time. Like as I listened and listened to what she was saying in this song, as I was listening and listening, just what she's saying is so beautiful, right? But it's like we gotta step into that, and there's a lot of us that's here. Hey, Islam, my dear brother, NWA, Islam, Islam. Hey, handsome. How you doing? Here we go. I need validation. I don't know. Facebook's probably gonna cut it, but I know TikTok on it. This is oh. Sure. Gotta be about the business I was assigned. Ain't about none of y'all. She said, generated soul, elevated mind. Like, don't. Y'all know what we really mean to y'all? Do y'all know what this is really about? Because I think we forget how amazing Mother is. I think we forget about it. Who are you, beautiful women? It's like crazy how we're treated. A shapeshifter for the ones that think they know me. I feel the same. So I chose this song to really play to embed so you can hear some things. So maybe when you hear what I'm saying, you can understand where my passion is coming from. Because that's all that's been coming to me is revelation. Since I did this sweat lodge the other night, all that's been coming to me is revelation. I've been being pulled to say this. I've been being pulled to speak for those, even if I'm just the voice for those that don't want to say anything. And since some may not want to come forth and say anything, I can be the voice. I can bust it open. I feel like this is a whole Diddy thing popping off right now because it's just way too much abuse going on around here. Way too much abuse. So we gonna start like this. I'm gonna no, not in my stream. I didn't want to get that. All right, so I'm gonna come out of this book that I have, right? Like I said, this is not a meeting or none of that. So I'm gonna be coming from different places because I feel like we just unaware of what we're doing to ourselves, what we're really doing to each other, and that our brothers, these brothers that are just out here abusing and mistreating women, and women that are doing the same, but it's a lot of brothers doing it. That I need you to come on, make a speedy reparation because we need our brothers, and you can literally knock y'all up off of here due to the fact of how bad women have been treated, how bad the mothers have been treated throughout all of this, not just in one place, but in all. So I'm going to read from this beautiful book. It's long. I'm going to read from this book right here. Shadows and so it's a book right here that I received from a brother here in Atlanta. And it's a compilation book of different authors that came together. And it's called The Epiphany of Loving Myself. Loving yourself is the root of our unity within, our power of collaborative unity. So some people came together to literally put this book together. And it says, when did I learn to love me? When did I learn to love me? So I want to come out of this book because it was written by a collective of people that felt like, you know, they needed to tell their story and get it out, you know, whatever that might have been. They needed to get this out. So they came together to write this beautiful book together. Active shooter in Atlanta. Sometimes I don't know if this news stuff is real, if it's fake, but they're so-called an active shooter right now in downtown Atlanta. Don't know what's going on, but anyway, it is shots fired at Atlanta Four Seasons Hotel downtown. Oh, active shooter. I knew it was gonna go down like before this so-called election that y'all think is an election is gonna pop off. Yeah, a lot of stuff is gonna happen. So y'all be safe out there for real because they're not playing no games right now. They're really not. So just be safe. Just be safe. That's all I can say. Just be safe out there. And if you're out there, just be safe because yeah, they're gonna be spazzing. These people, you have to understand how deep this goes. They want their power so bad. And it's even these people in these organizations that are a part of all of this too, to me, that want their power too. And they don't want their power to be gone. And they're afraid of being exposed. But you know what? Maybe you should have chose the way you did things differently. You should have chose the way you treated people differently. That's it. That's all. Because we can all be exposed for a lot of things. Nobody, I'm not saying I'm perfect. Not at all. Please get it right. I'm not perfect. But let me tell you something. The way we show up and treat people is major. It's major. It's major. And we about to pay for it majorly. And it's going to be sad to see how many brothers have to pay for this. How many brothers have to pay for the mistreatment of sisters. Oh, sisters is going to be a part of it too. I done told y'all it's just not a male thing. So this is not a male bashing thing at all. At all, it's not. But when you're not right and you done did wrong, I don't care if you even thought it in your mind. If it was a thought that crossed your mind, the thought already did the thing. Because the sin is not in the act. The sin is in the wish and the desire. So it starts with your thought. So anytime you're thinking that I can't stand, I wish he would. The thought has already crossed your mind. You've already committed the sin. You don't have to act. You don't have to go do it actively. As I said, the sin is in the wish and the desire of it, not necessarily the act of it. So you got to watch your thoughts at all times. Watch the way you do things. Watch the way you show up and represent yourself. Period. So coming out of this book of The Epiphany of Loving Myself, there's a chapter 2, and it's called Souls and Shadows. How to Kill Yourself Without Dying. Author is Travion Alexander. Travion is a generation curse breaker, 27 years old, and has endured storms my elders could never imagine. I'm a student that teaches teachers, chosen to lead leaders. My existence is a vital factor of planetary prosperity. I am divinity encased in flesh. I was created to help. Thank you for allowing me space to fulfill my purpose. Islam, I love this. Young brother, 27. One of my sons is that age. Islam, How to Kill Yourself Without Dying, Chapter 2, Souls and Shadows. When people are traumatized, they form destructive habits, thought processes, and defense mechanisms in order to form a hedge of protection for their mental, physical, and emotional well being. Yes, you can screenshot it. Yes, my apologies. Here you go. Over on Instagram, they need a screenshot. My apologies. My apologies. It's called The Epiphany of Loving Myself. Yes, yes. Hey, Tim. Hey, Tim. Hey, my people over on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Islam. All right, so I'm going to keep going. Whew. I've been to I've been able to identify 5 common escapes for trauma victims of my ethnic and cultural background. In turn, I've also identified these 5 things as ways to kill yourself without dying. Mm. These are the follow. They are as follows: turning to drugs, turning to the streets, hurting people, going to jail, turning to God. The 5 things I've identified as ways to kill yourself without dying are strictly from my own observation and perspective of life. So he's saying he don't need your thing, right? That's a word, isn't it, Tiff? Islam. Hey, Tiff. Um, by no means am I providing any medical or psychological advice, nor am I diagnosing, prescribing, or providing treatment for any of the symptoms you may feel and or relate to. I am simply drawing general conclusions from years of analyzing traumas others have experienced, as well as my own, and explaining how I've overcome these obstacles in my own journey. Turning to drugs. It was April 16th, 2006. I was wearing a new pair of blue jeans, bibs, overalls, an orange shirt, and a pair of hand-me-down Air Forces. I was outside playing Kill a Man. If you were from St. Louis, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But for those who don't, Kill a Man is a well-known pastime in my generation. It's football in the concrete jungle. I didn't know that. Wow. The whole neighborhood was the field, and the rules were simple. Make it to the other side of the block alive. Dang. I got into a fight with one of the neighborhood kids that day because they kept hitting me and playing it off as an accident. I got tired not only of him hitting me, but also with the fact that he thought I was stupid enough to believe these were merely coincidences. I waited for the first moment where he was close enough for me to swing, and I punched him dead in his face. The other neighborhood kids gathered around me to see how the situation would unfold. I was the runt of the litter, so as you can imagine, I was considered an easy target. I can agree. I was bullied like a mug in school. Man, if I could pull my bullies up. They all cheered for my opponent. Beat his butt, they yelled. Beat his butt. He is too little. You gonna hurt that boy. The end result was quite opposite. To make a long story short, after seeing me beat up a kid twice my size, the older kids in the neighborhood took an interest in me. They told me to walk with them to the store and they would give me whatever I wanted. I said, okay, excitedly. Then they lit up a blunt and passed it to me. This was my first time smoking weed. It was my birthday that day. I just had turned 11 years old. I started smoking weed and tobacco heavily at the age of 14. And due to my circumstances as a young teen, I'm sure anyone who has been lost before will understand why this was my preferred course of action, especially when it came to helping myself cope with the traumas from my childhood. I can attest, been there, done that. Islam, been there, done that. Told you I'm not perfect. Islam. Um, Especially when it comes to helping myself cope with the traumas from my childhood, which at that time weren't that long ago. I began drinking at the age of 16. I don't like it. I was very depressed, on edge, and upset with life. I got kicked out of school for defending myself, when somehow turned which somehow turned into a riot, and I was done. Wait, I was done to the mastermind behind all of these affairs. Wow, which led me to my expulsion. He got expelled from school. I got drunk voluntarily and involuntarily. My first encounters with alcohol were in parties where occasionally people would knowingly offer me spiked drinks, and I would unknowingly accept. I like how free I felt, drunk. I just didn't give a F, or lack of a truer statement. This came with the pitfalls as well. I didn't know my limit at the age, of course, with me still developing and all. So I quickly fell victim to blackouts, which led to me being taken advantage of mentally, physically, emotionally, and financially. And financially. Really, I can choose to blame the people who took those actions, to violate my person. But truthfully, on this path to true recovery and forgiveness, I've realized I must also acknowledge my own role in these situations. Ultimately, I admit that at any point before I became intoxicated, I knew right from wrong. I was also a victim running from abuse. Drinking became an escape that only led to reopening wounds that nobody knew about. I'm so glad, right? It's long. I didn't experiment with drugs outside of the green stuff until I was 19. I never liked the medicine, so I never saw myself partaking in the pill popping facet of my generation. I purchased a 97 Chrysler luxury edition with cash that came from my various entrepreneur endeavors. As a second semester freshman in college, I took my first he took his first pill. After I threw out my shoulder, pushing the same old car up a steep hill right after it ran out of gas. Cut off and started smoking terribly. I couldn't just stay there because I had stuff in the car and I didn't want to cause a commotion by impeding traffic. So I pushed and pushed until my right arm was practically useless. I pushed until my rotor cuff was torn. My shoulder was out of place. I pushed even after my adrenaline had been long behind me. I pushed with pure willpower. And as I coasted in neutral into the school gates, past security, with tears rolling down my face from frustration and feeling excruciating pain, I thanked God for the strength that He gave me. Because so many saw my struggle, but no one ever bothered to offer help. That is crazy because that happened. Oh man, I promise you. My first introduction to the psychostimulants was from the state foster care system. The state deemed me a problem child, a child that was hyperactive, a child who couldn't pay attention, a rebel. They started dumping medicine on me, telling whoever my caregiver was, let us know if this works for him. If not, we could try something else. They'll do anything to try to keep you under their control. Anything to keep you under their control. In all honesty, I felt like a lab rat, and eventually I stopped taking the medicine they prescribed and started taking medicine of my own. The desire for more grew as I began to dive into the party scene. I concluded that depressants weren't my thing, but I would partake in uppers occasionally. I altered between different pills and Red Bull to stay awake through long days of school and work and through long nights of partying. My original major in college was psychology. I wanted the concentration of my studies to be in the realm of altered states of consciousness. I have always been both fascinated and horrified by the idea that there is a way to not only influence, but to manipulate and control people's psyche by opening on their lack of understanding of how the human mind processes information. Below the threshold of consciousness, my curiosity expanded more as I rapidly absorbed article after article of information regarding the topic at hand. My quest to uncover the secrets of the mind was tireless, and it was not solely inspired by a thirst of knowledge, but it was a way to help me understand my traumas. And most importantly, it was a way to fight back. This led me down a road of experimenting with those things. I discovered certain different takers, ups, downs, shrooms, and all kind of hallucinants. These are very powerful hallucinant drugs used to induce a psycho-spiritual, metaphysical experience, inevitably altering the mind and perspective of the individual. Let me say this. I'm gonna stop right there because his story is really deep. Oh my goodness, it's super, super deep on here. So, as he was just saying, the abuse that had already taken place with him, mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, all those ways, that these things are happening to people daily. And this is a brother I'm talking about. So his abuse was different. So he may be at risk of women abusing him or him being an abuser, just based off of these traumas. Because hurt people, literally. You know what I'm saying? They hurt people. Hurt people literally hurt people. So I wanted to kind of speak from his story too, to just give you some idea. And so grateful he was a brother. Because like I said, it's not just the sisters being abused, the brothers are too. So I want to talk about, I am a part of the Moorish Science Temple of America. I have been a part of noble temples. I would say if I go to a meeting, it's with the Holy Temple of Science, with my original teacher. So grateful I have him in my life. And I'm so, let me say this. I just wish we had a building that my teacher could be at, where I'm able to go and be there with him in person, because he teaches so well and he teaches from the heart. He's such a heartfelt teacher. And the one thing I can say about my teacher, because I know a lot of people can talk bad about the Holy Temple of Science, but the one thing I can say about my teacher, Brother John, is he sticks to the prophet's lessons, if nothing else. And he loves the sisters. And he says all the time how bad the sisters are treated. And that we're always taking on the man's job of everything, whether financial, regardless of what it is. And we have laws and rules that even brothers are supposed to follow. And the sisters are always with the weight on their shoulders. Always. TikTok restricted my video. I really don't care. But anyway. He teaches. And he teaches from that circle 7. He teaches that Holy Quran. He teaches the history of the Moors too. He knows all that stuff. He teaches it all. So he doesn't leave things uncovered. He doesn't go and say, not give you this and not give you that. He's going to give you what you need. I love him for that. I'm so grateful I've been able to even be back in his life, because my first abuser in this movement was an ex that I spoke about the other night. And when I had to move to Atlanta, and when I had to go find me some more, because he would threaten me that if I went over there, he would do something to me. If I even showed up at the school, at the at the temple, where temple was being held at that time. Because he ended up taking me for about $10,000. And I wanted my $10,000 back, right? So he said, I'll take you back to Atlanta. We'll go back to Atlanta. We're going to live and da-da-da-da-da-da. All right. We're going to temple. All right. I just want my money back. That's all I wanted. I came back first. This is how I'm here now. Came back first. But I've been here since 2000 with my children. So they grew up here and everything. So Atlanta was nothing new to me. And so he sent me to, because I didn't tell nobody I was coming back. I had been gone for a few years. So clients had already found new people, all that, right? Because I did have a nice size clientele, amazing big clientele. But I needed to get my children out of here because of the abuse from their father, not only mentally, physically when we were together, but also the emotional abuse that went along with me having to raise 4 boys on my own after you decide to leave. And they have the same dad. Was married to the man for 20 years. So, yeah. Same state, everything. Islam beautiful. Islam sis. Same state, everything. Can't even barely get a meal. But when he want to be dad, they can go, hey, I'm not going to stop you from being with your children. I'm not. But at the end of the day, I was left to fend for me and for other people. So yeah, doing hair and doing all these big time celebrities and on set and da. Y'all don't know how bad I got mistreated by a lot of these so-called celebrities. And the only reason why I stayed, because I have 4 children to feed. I have 4 children to feed. 4 boys at that. $1,500 grocery bill every month. No food stamps. Because they say I made too much money as a hairstylist. And then they can go and they can review all my doggone stuff online. All my work online. Oh yeah, we see your website. What does that got to do with me feeding my children? I still have rent to pay. I still have rent at home, rent at the shop. I still have all this to do. Car note, car insurance, all by myself with 4 children. So the abuse from that was already traumatizing. So to think when I came into this movement, when I was introduced to it, because I was introduced through a civics, then I was introduced to the Holy Temple of Science. The most beautiful thing I could have ever heard in my life when I got up there and listened to Brother John give honors and listen to the way he taught and watch the way they ran meetings, because it was to a T. It was beautiful to watch it, and the respect and the tying up of the turban and all of that was an experience. I was excited. It was great. Wanted my children to be a part of the Nation of Islam when they were growing up. But their dad was like, no, my children ain't selling bean pies on the corner. He was just not trying to hear it. And I was like, man, come on now, really? So, when you're married, you do have to, your husband is the head of your house. So I had to do as my husband would ask of me. So, it is what it is. I couldn't necessarily do it. So, I eventually was like, okay, went and found a church and went to church, and we went to church. That was great. Went to an amazing church with an amazing teacher. And yeah, all of that. Then I had to get my children out of here, because then the hoods and the schools, and they weren't teaching them nothing. And I really need to go to work, because I was homeschooling and going to the shop. And then if it wasn't my own shop, I couldn't have them in the salon homeschooling them. So if I wasn't in my own space where they could be there with me all day, and I'm like, hey, as I'm doing hair, they homeschool. Many times my 2 little ones were at the shop with me. They over there sitting where the client said, all right, take this, y'all do this. While mommy get this sew-in in. I got 3-4 sew-ins a day. All right, we can go eat, do what we need to do. A lot of times not having a place to stay, because taking care of 4 boys is a lot. And they don't do shelters in Georgia where you can get a shelter and you got sons. They like, oh, we're gonna have to separate you. You ain't separating me from mine. Ain't that serious? It's okay. We'll continue on and go to the hotels like we've been doing. We'll figure it out. We got to sleep in the car for one night. Don't matter. I'll make some money tomorrow through the cycle, whatever, or stay with someone. So through that, because I'm taking y'all through this to understand even my passion and compassion behind why I'm doing what I'm doing and saying it, because people need to start speaking. They don't speak up enough. And when they do speak up, nobody does anything. They'll talk about what they're gonna do, and nobody does anything at all. And that needs to stop. So I said, well, we need to bring it all the way to this live stream, these social media platforms. And people need to start talking. So that's why you're getting this backstory. Y'all can check the book when it come out. I'll give you the title later. But anyway, so Going through all that, figuring out my way to figure this out and coming into this science. So the Holy Temple Science was great. Here I come. Okay, back here. Going through that. Finally found the temple. Loved my temple. Loved Temple 33 in the West End. Loved it. Until I found out someone that I really never really cared about. Well, I ain't gonna say didn't care about him, but I would hear about him and it was a lot for me. So I was already in it. And because I loved my teachers, I could not end Cecil's back. I loved all of them, the way they taught and how gentle they were about teaching and the things that they were, the way we were taught and just the way everything went. Our gatherings, our togetherness, of really wanting to see this movement be something that it has never been before. Because I don't know, based off of what you hear, all the confusion and drama, it just seems like it was never good before. But it's so much goodness in it. It's so much greatness in it that people misuse it. And so these lessons were used on me in an abusive way. Not only from the ex that used them on me to the point to where he was 6 hours away from Atlanta. I got in the car and left because I got tired of the lessons being used against me because I didn't know the lessons. I didn't. I just would study with him and study at the temple. So I really didn't know my lessons to know what he was really talking about. So we're going to fast forward. Getting away from him. One day him seeing me, we coming in contact with each other, and him saying to me, today you are going to be out of here. You unalive today, and ain't nobody here to save you. Nobody. And as I'm off my feet, I had to remember there was a time where he would told me he had this little fetish thing about this putting his hand around people's places, right? And so I thought about it as I'm in the air because I'm only 5 foot. He's 6'2". I'm 5 foot, so I'm off the ground. I say pass out. He said something about passing out, so I had to just act like I passed out because I felt like I was about to stop breathing. So he dropped me, took off. This little pale skin this European brother, little young brother, was driving down the street because as I'm trying to run from him because I come up and I'm running and he's trying to chase me and I'm running. I'm little, but I'm fast because I can move a little bit, And so I'm running and this little European boy is driving down the street because I'm running. This little old lady's outside and I'm telling the old lady, hey, help me, please. Look, can I get your car? She's like, She was an old lady that I can understand. She's like, oh no, I'm not in it. I'm not in it. And I'm like, oh my God. So I'm running. I'm in Decatur. I'm down in Decatur by downtown Decatur. I'm in Decatur. So I'm running down the street. I see this little boy coming and I'm running. He's coming. I'm like, stop. Because here he comes with his big old self. He's coming. And I said, please, can you open it? He was like, get in. Got in. He took off down the street. Praise Allah. Got to the Waffle House. I called the police because he had shattered my phone. He had did all of that. I get to the Waffle House to call the police. They got me in handcuffs. Like, he said you jumped on him. He said you scratched him. He said all these things. And I'm like, and looking. Well, he had a warrant. They didn't take me, but they took him. I didn't do anything to him. He choked me. So that's what ended me up with Noble Temples, because I would get threatened that if I went to that temple, if I even attempted to contact his teacher, that he was going to take me out. So I can't even practice my faith because you want to bully me. So why am I coming talking about this? Because I was even abused with Noble Temples. The main person, the main leader, verbally, not my teacher at my temple at 33, but the other brother that was over all of this. Not only abusive mentally, emotionally, verbally, financially. I took a big financial hit for constantly sending dues in and extra dues, and never nothing got done. It was always this is coming, that is coming, all these promises and excuses. And then as soon as I don't agree with you, because whatever you got going on, whatever you trying to hide from who you dealing with, whatever you got going on, is tearing up the temple. Because most of y'all brothers don't even know how to keep your stuff in your pants. You go from woman to woman, sister to sister. As soon as she come in, you trying to get her, and all of those extra do's and don'ts. Not even in a respectful way, neither. This is why Brother John said the brothers are never supposed to press the sister's hand, because then y'all get the feeling on folks. And back before in the 80s, this is why holy's been taken away when they ask. Because when brothers was doing this, they filling up the sister's arms like they Ray Charles or something. You know what I'm saying? And so the disrespect had to stop. So they had to pull away and say, no, no more pressing of the sister's hand. Because y'all don't know how to contain yourself. So through watching women come and go in these temples, the temples I belong to, watching them just come and go and come and go and come and go, has been like a revolving door. It's like a revolving door that doesn't stop. And then I'm hearing the same things now. And then what's funny to me, some of these brothers, I guess, because they ain't never seen me demonstrate, they think I'm new to Moorish science. So then they trying to throw lessons all at me and this and that. Okay, all right, I get it. And I respect everything you say. But at the end of the day, ain't none of y'all doing no work for real, for real. And if you are, it really ain't being seen. Y'all just hustling information. I do this for free because I have a career. I'm a very creative person. So I'm not doing more science to gain a follower, to get no money, or none of that. To file a piece of paperwork, because I don't have to. I filed and got my name the proper way. So regardless, I own my name. It is mine. Because I did it properly where my teacher from the Holy Temple of Science taught me how to do it properly. And when I did it, just as the prophet said, went and asked in an intelligent tone, and they was happy to give me a favorable reply. Because they were so happy to see he was bringing me back into my family of nations. Real talk. So everything, my children's documents have their name, a national name on it. Yes, indeed. Know how to answer if asked what that is. Taught them that a long time ago. But I think you thought I was new to this, and I'm not. Because I try to explain to these people and these brothers too that this ain't my first time here. It's not. Spirit don't die. It really don't. Spirit don't die. It's always here. The good and the bad spirits. But I needed to shake some things up this time. So the things I've been through, hey, they're only my story to build me to the person that I am today, to the woman I am today, to the mother I became, to the mother I am. Not the most perfect person, not the perfect mother, but reaching to obtain that perfectness. Because I know it's attainable. I know it's obtainable. So, we are here right now. This is what's going on. And I'm tired. I'm tired of hearing women being mistreated. I'm tired of seeing sisters being mistreated. I'm tired of watching so-called temples that got it going on, that are sending lessons all the time. Hearing about families on the street. And you're a temple? You supposedly hold all the answers. Well, why are there families on the streets with their children? And just because they're dealing with certain things, why are they there? Why are you brothers constantly abusing and using these sisters? Taking their stuff when you shouldn't. You should pay for stuff that you get, because that's called thieving. And you're making the movement look real bad. You brothers make this movement look bad. Sisters too, some of y'all too. I said I wasn't going to not talk about y'all too, because there's some abusive elder sisters in this movement too that need to stop being abusive with their words, because you run people off. People are really trying to save themselves. They're really trying to save their soul. And you will be the one to put them right back into slavery because you're running them away. You're running them away from what the prophet left as a universal message. So he never said, this message is for the Morris Science Holy Temple of Science, the Morris Science Temple of America, Morris Science Inc. No, he never said it was just for y'all. He never said that. He said it's universal. Islam, all by this. He said it's universal. So I'm trying to figure out, when did it just become yours? And if it's so much yours, why y'all ain't doing nothing with it? Because from these past few lives I did, the calls I've been getting on some of these people is off the chain. I'm like this, but I can believe it, because man will disappoint you every time. He gonna disappoint you every time. Every time he's gonna disappoint you. And so for Prophet Noble Drew Ali to bring a movement that was so much about uplifting the woman, and the one thing they do the worst is push us down, shun us, use these lessons to whoop on us. Use these lessons because they don't think you're going to pick them up. Guess what I did? I picked it up. I've been studying every day. I eat from it daily. I don't know it all the way. I ain't saying I'm perfect in it. I'm still unfolding these lessons, but my goodness, to find myself, work on myself, and do the best to make a better me is what I'm really showing up to do. And I feel like when people run amok over something, then you got to start questioning, was any of these folks for the prophet? In all honesty, I don't believe it. I don't care what kind of doggone proof you got. You can't say to me nobody was for him, because if that's a powerful position to be in. And that now we're gonna say NEGRO. That part don't like nobody higher than them. They ego too caught up. Negro got ego in it. Picked it up and haven't never put it down. Islam, that's right. And you shouldn't. Should eat from it daily, because they don't expect us sisters to know it. But now I'm understanding, as my teacher's teaching, the prophet was gonna leave it to y'all before they took him up out of here. And now it makes sense why he would. He already knew y'all wasn't gonna do nothing with this. He already knew. He brought it for the people. I brought you everything to save a nation. Now save yourself. That's for real. You got to save yourself with these lessons, because these brothers ain't about to save y'all, sisters. So stop coming in these temples looking for them, and stop letting them hit on you when you come up in here. Come in here for yourself. Come and learn about yourself, and allow the energy to attract the brother that's for you. Because, girl, they'll fill your head with so many lies, because they swear these lessons and it sounds good. And baby, they got the slickest mouths and the smoothest this and the smoothest that. And boy, they can take them lessons and make love to your mind, honey. Don't fall for it. It's a trick. You better pick up the Circle 7 for yourself and read it and study. Don't let nobody guide you like that. Allah is our guide. Man ain't. Or the lady. So, brothers, if y'all messing with a sister and she's controlling you with these lessons, don't let her do it. Don't let her do it. Pick it up and don't put it down. Eat from it every day. Find yourself. You're not going to like some parts of yourself when you start finding yourself in this literature. But I advise you to do it, because if not, they're going to use it as ammunition against you. They're going to take you and they're going to whoop you with it. Because see, Garvey said, Marcus Garvey, which was the forerunner to our prophet, Noble Drew Ali. I love a lot of his quotes, and I have so many of his speeches in storage. I got to get it, but y'all know I'm homeless right now. So just doing my little thing for the moment. He said, this is what he said, my favorite quote. The pen is mightier than the sword, but the tongue is mightier than them both. That's how they abuse us with these lessons. That's how you get abused in any sector. Because I've known people abused from the Sunni perspective to the, what is it, the uniting of Nation of Islam perspective to the regular church houses to the, no matter what, these women are being abused. So Nature Boy was just a bust open of all this thing. Because it's a lot of nature boys running around here in these movements and organizations that they take this like, oh, let me go get a couple of wives and women and mistreat them. Because you let them control your mind. Once they done took your thinking, y'all, they snatched your soul. That's called a body snatcher. They snatched your soul away. You can't think for yourself. The soul has actions, and it's thinking, understanding, reasoning, and willing. If thinking's the first one and they snatch your thinking from you because they beat you down with these lessons by telling you what you're not, how you're not, you don't love, you ain't this, you ain't that. But as you unfold and go into these lessons, you can find out how amazing you are. That, yeah, you probably may need to tune up and fine tune and take some things out and pour your whole cup out, the whole entire cup too. Like if it's a pitcher, take the whole pitcher, just pour it out and let's start over. Don't bring nothing in it. Like leave a little to the side because you might need some of it to put back in there to give a little seasoning. Because, you know, sometimes we got to season this stuff. You don't want to water it down either, but put some seasoning on it. You know what I'm saying? Like that soul food. Like that soul food. Put some seasoning on it. So you got to keep these lessons and you got to have them for yourself. Arm them with you. And no matter where you go, because so many people are like, I don't even have a temple no more. And I just want to be able to take my babies to temple. I had a sister crying because I was crying based off of something that's happening in this movement to my sister. I'm crying up at 3 a.m. This sister's up at 3 a.m. I'm finding out other sisters was up at the same time I was up. And I just having to get up, y'all. I was tired yesterday. You know what I'm saying? I came home and had to take some pain pills. I was in pain. And I was like, oh, I got to go to sleep. So I was knocked out by 9 o'clock, I think. Something like that. So I woke up at 3. Like, oh, my goodness. Up and knowing that these other people are up. And she's crying. I would love to just, my children, they're out here unprotected. So the sisters in this movement, they have just as much protection. This is what's said about us. So I ain't gonna say just sisters in the movement, but sisters in general have just as much protection as a rabbit in a field with dogs chasing it. That's how much protection we got. And it sounds so good when we'll be there, but when you gonna get there? Because it's gonna take you a minute to get to me. If this brother is about to take me up out of here, and you gonna come, you sure can you get here? Because if not, I might be up out of here by the time you get here. So when nobody's calling these brothers out on their stuff, and since nobody wants to do anything, we gotta go public with it. Y'all go public about everything else. Y'all go public about downing each other and putting each other down and talking about who stole what and what. But y'all are not talking about what you're doing. How is your household going while you worry about everybody else's backyard and they weeds? Are your weeds out? Have you taken care of your own weeds for you think about taking care of the next person? Because that's where you still pointing the finger. A show on the other night was about who's judging who when you should judge yourself. Judge you. You should judge yourself. And what are you really doing when you sit back and you go into the wilderness? You go into that wilderness of your mind and you go examine yourself. Are you truthful with yourself when you're examining yourself? Are you trying to go over the parts and figure out what part gonna fit for you? Is that what that's about? Because when you examine yourself, you're gonna have to look at that gross part that you really be trying to hide and keep down, whatever that's called. It's still there. It's still there. It's the shadow of who you are. So don't be trying to act like it ain't there. Learn how to use it if it's there, and don't use it for the bad. Use it for good. You can turn it into good. He brought you the possibilities of man, not impossibilities. So when people always talking about what you can do and what you can't do and how this ain't this, and well, the last I checked in Circle 7, it said the possibilities. I brought you the possibilities of man, not impossibilities. And so sometimes we allow man to take us away from what our purpose is because it doesn't fall into line with what they got going on. So that's why I always say, even with women, like, don't get lost in a brother. Do for you. Make sure you got you. Because we can get so lost in them that we get caught up, that we lose ourselves in everything that we probably were dreaming, aspiring to be, and having. I can say this, and I think I had mentioned this about this brother in the Nation of Islam that kept texting me, and I wasn't the person he should have been texting. Because then this is where I'm telling y'all that this stuff is going on everywhere. This mistreatment of women, and young women at that, because they always think because they older that they got one up on you, and that is not true. I know some young women that got a lot of older women beat with their thought process. They know they worth already. So it ain't too easy for a brother to butter them up on do all that for them. It's not easy. But to even see that in him saying, well, I like young women and he likes 60 something. If you don't go sit down and start saying, well, I'm not in your age bracket, bro. You said 32, I'm 50. Can you stop texting me? So to tell you, and then he's sending pictures to this man of this young girl in the parking lot, but they're coming to me and I keep going, you're texting the wrong person. So when I say the abuse goes on in all these places, church, organizations, whatever you want to call them, these women are being abused. Nobody's speaking up for them. And then when they go tell the leaders and the heads and all that, they say they're going to do this and that. And then when time passes, they be like, excuse me, it's still happening. They still ain't did nothing. But y'all want to talk about how great whatever you got going on is so great. All things are possible through Allah, the highest virtue. Islam. And who is the highest virtue? We got to go back to mama. To mama. The highest virtue is mama. Feminine energy. Who's always there for you? Your mama. If you don't know that street, go listen to Sesame Street. Go listen to Goodie Bag. Go listen to anything Goody Mob, because they told y'all this a long, long time ago. So see, I'm so happy of my ex-husband. Because he turned me on to Goody and Outkast. He was born and raised in this bad boy. So he turned me on to all that. So grabbing a hold of that and coming from as a child, coming out of hip hop, coming out of that's what I grew up on. My sister break danced outside with cardboard in a boombox, baby. What? On the corner with her friends. Serious? So when I say I was embedded in music, because my dad's a musician, I was embedded in that thing. So not only do I understand rhythm, lyrics are my thing. Lyrics. Goody Mob was always speaking what I wanted to hear. I was always on, because I was a Sister Soldier girl. I was a Queen Latifah girl. I was a Moni Love girl. I was an MC Light girl. I was a Lady of Rage girl. I was a oh my goodness, what man, I could keep going. I mean, I ain't do Kim them too much. They was cool and stuff, but you give me Miss Melody, you give me people like that, like taking me back. Give me the real Roxanne. Give me Roxanne Shantae. Give me them. UTFO, give me them. I come out of all of that. Grandmaster Flash, all of that. And my brother's mom had a record pool. So I used to get all the records. Because she supplied all the records to the people. So when I want to go see my brother down the street, that's my brother. He gonna always be my brother. My brother Butter. My brother Butter. Always my brother forever in life. Go down the street, mom gonna give me some records to take home. I had Grandmaster Flash wanted to scratch on the turntable. I always had them. So let me tell you something. I come from that real hip hop music where they were speaking of uplifting and empowerment and Public Enemy, like all of that, Heavy D and the Boys, all of that, all of that. I told y'all Heavy D was supposed to be my husband. I just knew he was gonna be my husband in my head, right? I come from that. So I love music. I love it. So lyrics is one thing I'm gonna listen to. I'm gonna listen to them lyrics. I want them lyrics to, because if they're touching me and my spirit is connecting, yeah, and it feels good to my spirit. That's why I love soul music. That's why I love old school music. I love things that make my soul feel at peace. I love when it makes my soul feel at rest. And I love when it feeds my soul and it allows me to raise up into my higher self and really see Allah and really hear from Allah. Because nobody can tell you about your still small voice. It's a still small voice is for you. It ain't for everybody else. And can't nobody tell you how your still small voice works. So don't let these folks do that because they think they got some information. Don't let them feed you stuff about, well, you need to do this. Find out for yourself. Examine for yourself. You can't trust what everybody telling you. Examine for yourself. We have non-real people walking around here. Islam, girl, I'm telling you, I think it's that doggone sweat lodge. I want to do that once a month. I felt so connected because ever since I came up out of there, y'all, I'm telling y'all, my ancestors is around me and I feel them, and they is like this, like they picking me up, like, come on, I need you to get lighter. You're gonna have to let go of these things. So that's why I'm out here doing it. So yeah, thank you. I appreciate that, sis. I appreciate it. All for the glory of Allah, because I know I'm here to do my Father's work. I ain't here for none of that other stuff. It's cool. It's cool. But I'm not here for that. I'm here because I do know that my people can be way better than what they are. I do know that. But we're going to have to clean this stuff up. Like these temples, these churches, all of this stuff, it needs to be cleaned out, wiped out, purged out, all of the above. Do you hear what I'm saying? It truly do. Because I'm like Prince. Man, I need to play. I can't do it. I can't do it because they're going to cut off. That Prince and that song, Thieves in the Temple. There's thieves in the temple tonight. I think everybody should go listen to that song and listen to what he is saying. Because we still got thieves in the temple. These are these same thieves that allow these heathens to come over here and take our stuff, y'all. Them same thieves. And they the same thieves that want this so-called lady guy to be in office. So don't get that twisted neither. This is how easily, this is when they say the devil got good trick. He knows the tricks too. Yep, and he's still pulling them on y'all. He's still pulling them. Because y'all would rather sit and have time bashing one another than sitting having time and really finding out what's being done to the people. We say 1779 to 1865, but they started planning this doggone thing before that. They was already paperwork in 1774. We got it together. Let's go by 1770. Yeah, we'll have it all together by then. And we got them. And as long as we keep our churches and our schools open, we'll always have control of the Negro people. Yeah, facts. Facts. So this is why the lawyers and scribes and doctors and all of that are like tumors to the state of the people. They really are. They're really not doing us any good at this point. They're just highly educated, but they're not doing nothing for the people. Sitting back watching you put yourself back into slavery pretty much while they hold the lessons and the keys to teaching this thing and helping people to ascend to a higher place, to help them better themselves. It's a whole entire recipe book to that. But we would rather use it to beat each other up with. use it against each other, that still sounds very Romanish to me. Sounds very Romanish to me, as much as you claim you're not. Sounds like the same thing that went on when it came out of Rome. It sounds like the same thing. So that's why I said nobody could have been for the prophet. Y'all can't even sell me that anymore. No, he was prepared from the belly. Them brothers, he found them on a stoop, smoking and doing everything that they weren't supposed to be doing. He was the only one clean. So you telling me in that short amount of time, brothers still ain't got it yet. In that short amount of time, everybody got it. And was able to finish what the prophet left. Really? I don't think so. Y'all can't sell that to me no more. That all sounds bogus. And I'm gonna say, because spirit comes and speaks to me. So this is why I know that this has really been a joke. Y'all been playing this as a joke. Y'all playing with Allah. Y'all about to really find out what playing with Allah about to get y'all. Because y'all didn't think that this spirit thing was real. Y'all thought that it was only a nationality. We gonna stick to that and we ain't gonna say nothing else. And ain't no spirit going on around here. This is a spirit, all right. And you gonna meet it too. It's gonna be your best friend. You gonna have to get right. Every knee will bow and every tongue will confess. I don't care that it's in there, but it's the truth. That's still gonna pop off. It's still gonna pop off. You can't be lukewarm. You either gonna be hot or cold. So while you're trying to be lukewarm, you need to choose a side. Because it's God's side or the other side. And me personally, I'm not concerned with the other side. Somebody told me, due to the fact of my little group, that people wouldn't take me serious. Really? I could care less who would take me serious or not. I have been an outcast my whole life. That was hilarious to me. And I'm not trying to be funny or cocky about it. But that was funny to me. I've never been one that was accepted. I sat with everybody that nobody would sit with at school. You can ask any of my friends. But they be at the table. We over here having fun. And I was a popular child. So I didn't have to go sit over there. But hey, I'm going to sit with those that nobody sit with. I'm going to talk to them. So I really could care less if somebody took me serious or not, because I don't take none of them serious. I really don't. I can't take nobody serious in this thing no more. Because not even when being abused from the church aspect, being abused from over there too, hurt from there too, and coming into this and being abused with lessons, getting whooped on with sentences and words. Just wild to me. And it don't have to be like that. That's not what this is about. We're supposed to be unifying. And more people run away from this movement and this information than anything because of the actions of the so-called heads, these titled folks, and all the titles they hold, and the this they hold, and the that they hold. And we still ain't focused on Allah, though, and you still ain't listening to them laws. You still going off your own will, and it's Allah's will that you're gonna have to come off that little wheel, bro. Because this circle about to close up on this book. So advise you that maybe you need to get off the little wheel. So we can be on Allah's will, because it's Allah's will. That's whose will this is. And even when I was over there in church, I've belonged to big congregations from new birth all the way, honey. I promise you. Going through, put a prayer in the bucket. You don't hear nothing for 6 months. Then people call me back. I said, boy, if I didn't know how to love myself and pull myself out of stuff, I've been to slit my wrist a long time ago waiting on y'all to call about a blessing. I'm good. I don't need to talk to y'all no more. And I left. So it's not just going on over here. It goes on everywhere. And it has to stop. Because y'all dress this thing up, all of it. Y'all dress it up to make it look good because y'all want to be noticed. Somebody told me I don't need to run with Moorish groups. Ma'am, I'm not running with Moorish groups. I've been on social media before any of y'all got on social media. Y'all just came on yesterday. I've been on since it started. Go and check how long I've been on here because I'm a whole brand. I'm not just Moorish Science. I told the sister, Google me. My work will show up. The things that I have done. It's a track record. It ain't hidden from nobody. I ain't gotta hide from nobody who I am. And I ain't gotta run with nobody's group. Because to be honest with you, ain't nobody paying me neither. So I'm not in for no popularity contest. Boo, I'm known as Salt and Pepper back home in Colorado from middle school. You think I'm tripping over somebody, a group, and being a part of a clique? Sis, I'm too old for that. Way too old for that. You see my style? I'm different. I promise you I'm different. Yes, I'm different. Pull up to the scene with my ceiling missing. Because I'm different. I was bred differently. Even I was on the podcast the other night, and when I said that I come from a family of love, someone said, well, I didn't come from that because I grew up here. I don't care if you grew up in a shack. That don't mean nobody didn't love you because my mom was not rich. I grew up in apartments too. They didn't call them projects in Colorado. I don't know, because if y'all seen projects in Colorado, y'all say, oh, those are some really nice apartments. Clean, where they used to be. I don't know what they look like now. But please understand that just because my mom loved me don't mean that I lived in the suburbs in a big old house with a dad and the great thing. No, my mom worked 2 jobs to take care of 5 girls. So but my mama loved us. My mom is the most loving person you can meet. So it ain't about where you live. It's not about what the house looks like on the outside. It's about what you make it within. Me and my children have lived in hotels, 1-bedroom apartments, 2-bedroom apartments. We make it work. You know what the best thing about having them homeschool and being with my children is our relationship. That I can see my babies every day and know they ain't got to go home by themselves because I hated going home by myself. I need to be there and my babies need to see me. That's why I chose to be a hairstylist from high school. I've been doing this since high school, boo. So this is nothing new. I put on hair shows back home. I've done all that. So click, no. My children, I do this for my children and my grandchildren. That's why I do this for. And all the other children that nobody's looking out for. All the other babies that everybody ignores. That's why I do this. So no, I'm not doing it for no popularity contest. I don't need to be popular. I'm popular enough if that's the case. If I'm on Google's top 10, I think I'm popular enough. I don't want to be popular. I'm cool on that. I done been in that life with them people, and being popular is depressing because they're the most depressed people on this planet, if you want to be honest. So because y'all not used to attention, I don't know. I could care less about attention. I'm not looking for it. I'm not looking for it. So I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. You don't like it, you ain't got to. But I promise you, these sisters that's going to come and tell these stories. I really hope you brothers clean up. Because I have heard some names over these past couple of days. Ooh. Boy, have I heard some things. I'm like, whoa, really? That's why I said I'm only coming to speak for me. I ain't saying nothing because good gracious, I had no idea. So y'all better strap up and keep your fire in your pants, as Mama D used to say. That was Brother John's wife. Brother John's wife was not a Moorish American. She was a Christian woman, and when she would come to temple, she would tell them brothers, y'all don't know how to keep y'all's fire in y'all's pants. Because I guess she got tired of seeing all these different women coming in and out of the temples with them. Because she was married to Brother John for 50-some years. So she's been with him and seeing these same people in the temple, but watching all these different women coming in and out. So she'd be like, y'all can't keep y'all's fire in y'all pants. Y'all need to learn how to keep y'all's fire in y'all's pants. So y'all better clean up. Y'all better clean up. I promise you, speedy reparation. And I'm willing to be the one to come out here and be the sacrifice. So whatever you feel you need to do, want to do, can do, whatever, let's go. Let's go. I'm not scared of a Tahaka, a nobody. Let's go. Put it out there. Because y'all all have been abusers in one way or another. You abuse your households and all that. So I ain't scared. So whatever you need to do, hey, I have nothing to lose. Because I have nothing. So I truly have nothing to lose. So that's the message for today. So I advise y'all to get it together. Whatever you owe somebody, you better make sure you cover it. All I'm saying, because boy, it's been some stuff on y'all out here that I don't think y'all even know. Because these sisters have been quiet for a while and they ready to speak. So whatever y'all have done, whoever y'all have wronged, all y'all brothers, whether you a sheik, a grand sheik, a teacher, a minister, I could care less if you was the person attending the parking lot. You better get your life together. Speedy reparation. Prophet is demanding it. And I promise you, if y'all don't, it's not even a threat. I promise you, if you don't, he's about to step away from the fire and y'all all about to catch on fire. It's the fire. He's going to move out the way. So all I'm saying, y'all better make a speedy reparation. I don't know when these sisters gonna be ready to speak, but whenever they're ready to speak, we going live. So I came to get mine out, so I don't take over nobody's time because I could be long-winded. So as soon as they're ready to go, it's gonna happen. I'm not gonna tell you when it's gonna happen, but I'm sure a lot of y'all are scrounging, trying to put your drawers up and everything. I'm sure because you just don't know who might come to the stage. Coming to the stage. You just don't know who's coming to the stage. So, and it may be some old people for some old people. And all they wanted to do was come to temple. That's all they was asking to do. To be able to still study their lessons and do these things. I mean, brothers have caused women to lose babies. A lot has went on. A lot. So the time is now. We're in those hours. And baby, it's gonna pop off before y'all so-called election. Because I don't know who the more is having the seat, but I have a feeling it's someone there because everybody and all this, somebody got to be sitting up there, and I want to know. So when, as soon as these people get in office, I can go hold them accountable for what nobody's being held accountable for. And maybe we could go to the government and get y'all to shape up or ship out. Because the prophet ain't playing with y'all no more. Everybody's exposed. The veil is off. All I'm saying. As I said, I'm not perfect. Not looking to be, not trying to be. But definitely working toward it. All right. So y'all have a great evening. I'm going to have a good evening and finish this evening out with some studying, of course. And maybe I'll see y'all later. Y'all have a good evening. Get y'all some meals in. Talk to your wives and ask them how what their day was. Get more involved with the things that they do. You know what I'm saying? Stop putting your hands on women too. Women, stop putting your hands on these men. Because 1 in 9 men get abused. Remember that. 1 in 9 men do get abused. It ain't many, so y'all don't get on here and be talking about, but she abused me. I said 1 in 9. Y'all have a good night. Peace and love. Peace. Oh wait, gotta, I gotta, I gotta end it. I gotta end it.